Wow.
Wow, this is some really deep stuff.
I don't know what just happened, but something happened inside of me. Something snapped, something sick.
I wasn't expecting that
either. Sorry.
It's okay. It's all right. It's beautiful.
Monster is like really small, but it had to become that to stop me.
And then the hurt child became present when you mentioned it.
And I didn't realize this until now.
There were things that I didn't remember until now.
Funny. I haven't seen that before.
It feels like I'm the monster. I'm kind of seeing images of things. Of a world where they can exist. This clarity brings all kinds of answers.
It's clear. She hugged me and then went back to her place, I guess, in my heart. Oh, it wants to come out. It wants to bippity boppity boop Cinderella me. She's melted into my chest. It's ooey gooey.
All week been finishing things, cleaning up more, started eating vegetables again last week. And it kind of just started happening. It's almost like I just finished going through a meditation session.
I feel light. When you hit that first joint, in the morning, and
I actually feel a lot more awake.
I've been thinking, the other day, I just had this quick notion that there's a part of me that doesn't want to get well.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Sounds like a good one to get to know.
Yeah. And, I don't know if you came thinking, if you had anything else that you thought would be wiser to go into, or.
No, the only thing that I'm showing up with as far as that would be, stuff that we talked about in our last call. So I could ask questions about those parts and continuing work from there, but I don't have any preference or, that's just the only thing that's on my mind. It's those parts that we met in our last call.
Could you remind me of that?
Mostly a part that wanted to hurry and was very interested in hurrying and protected you by hurrying. And some of that had to do with some sexuality. Mm-hmm. Some of that had to do with fear of your dad.
Mm-hmm.
So that was most of what we talked about in that call, was the hurry part.
Yeah, thank you. I have been able to recognize hurry.
Mm-hmm.
I may have mentioned that on the last call that, there are times that I'm able to thank hurry for, her work, when I really do need to hurry.
Yeah.
And I'm also noticing there's a part of me that feels very lazy because I'm not moving a whole lot. I'm not the frantic push to be somewhere else is not there.
Okay.
Maybe that's a good sign.
Maybe.
Maybe.
All right. So we have a part that feels lazy, a part that doesn't want to get well. You
Yeah,
just see who needs your attention most.
like James, I see this. We've talked about. Okay, I see the hypervigilant one. Who's always monitoring and watching, and what's the blood sugar, and what are you doing now? And I don't know if it's the same part, but that part is often giving me too much medicine. It's like, well, we need to really watch this. And so I see that. And then I see another part that's so afraid that part's going to kill her. I don't even know. I don't know how to. But I am starting to separate these parts in me that don't. It's like for so long I thought this is just me. I don't have discipline, or I'm this, or I'm that, and now I'm seeing this whole. They're all trying to keep me alive, and it's all pretty. What's the word? Vigilant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And by getting to know them one at a time, hopefully that vigilance can relax to some degree, because they won't feel that they need to work so hard to get your attention.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And that's why my question before this was, who needs your attention most? It's just finding out. That's often a good place to start, is which is being the loudest.
Okay.
Well, that's one way to say it. I mean, there's...
Yeah. Getting that cotton ball brain feeling again.
Mm-hmm. One thing that I didn't offer you already is a minute of quiet meditation. Would that help?
Yes.
Would you like that? Okay, I'll set a timer for a minute.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
How's the cotton ball feeling?
It's still there.
Okay. Could also be a part.
Mm.
And it could be one that we try to check in with.
Okay.
You want to try that?
Sure.
Okay. What's it feel like?
Feels like somebody put a fog machine in my brain, just really. What does it feel like?
Yeah. Any other sensations?
No, it's just real heavy. And, why don't you take a nap? You don't need to think about this.
Mm-hmm. Okay. How do you feel towards it?
Well, it resembles my mother, and I feel frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm not being heard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You got a lot of parts in you that want to be heard, and this one wants to shut it down, take a nap.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can see how that would be frustrating.
And it feels very much in the guise of I care about you, but it doesn't feel that way at all.
Right.
It's like, oh, this is too much for you.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tie your shoes for you. And I've been tying my shoes for a long, long time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's that kind of feeling.
Okay. See if you can turn to the one who's frustrated with
Okay.
it
Okay.
and ask that one for space.
Okay. Wow. Not easily letting go of that.
That's okay. It doesn't have to.
Yeah.
Could let it know that the reason we're asking it is because we want to get to know the one that's causing the fog and saying take a nap. And that if we're able to get to know it kind of one-on-one, then we might be able to help it relax or understand what it's about and how we can work with it.
Okay.
But it does make sense that this part would be frustrated.
Yeah. She's tapping her watch and going, we don't have time for this.
Mm-hmm.
You need to figure this out. You need to. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. We want to be efficient.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that this is probably the most efficient way to do it, to take the part that's showing up, to take the part that's blocking or wants to interfere in other parts' work, and to figure out what that's about.
Okay. All right.
How's the frustration feeling now?
It's like, whatever, I mean, I think backing up, but it's like, I don't think it's going to work, but okay, I'll back up.
Okay. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Thank you.
And we can check back in with it after.
Okay.
Okay. So the one that's telling you to take a nap.
Yeah.
See if you can invite it to notice you there.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And how are you feeling towards it now?
When you said that, it feels like she's saying, I've already noticed you. I know you. And I'm feeling like you don't know me.
You could be right. And I wonder if you're feeling like you know her.
Yeah.
The reason I'm asking is maybe we could all agree that there's some getting to know that could be done.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. I could really see that. And I've assumed a lot and believed I knew a lot about this part, and I need to let her speak.
How would it feel to let her know that you've made some assumptions and you're sorry about that?
I am sorry. I'm a little scared of her.
Mm-hmm. Can you say more about
I feel like
what that's
she's
like?
going I feel like she knows more than I do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that I really am weak.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Try asking the one that's saying take a nap how old it thinks you are.
Nine or 10.
Mm-hmm. And is it the 9 or 10-year-old that's scared of her and feels weak?
Hmm. No, I think she's just like, why won't you listen to me? You know?
Right. Okay.
I don't know who feels that fear of,
Okay.
and maybe
We
it
can
is.
find out.
Yeah.
So, the good news is we were wondering, this part said it already knows you,
Yeah.
but it was off by a few years,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So you could update it with your age. If there is a 9 or 10-year-old hanging around, you could ask them for space, let them know you'd like to get to them later. And if there's a part that feels weak, same thing.
Oh, it's happening. It's really happening now. It's like, I'm hearing, what are you doing? You don't even know what you're doing. You can't even follow simple instructions.
Okay. Who's saying that? Is that the take a nap part saying that?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, it feels like another fog machine. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, there's a real feeling of you aren't smart enough, you aren't strong enough, you're not physically strong enough, you're handicapped.
Mm-hmm. And what's it afraid would happen if it didn't tell you that, if it didn't send you that message?
Mm. Ah, that I would try and fail. I would be disappointed.
Yeah. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
So it wants to protect you from that feeling of disappointment.
Yeah. It's
Mm-hmm.
not working. But yeah,
Yeah.
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 Really. And it's not even just a disappointment, it's protect me from everything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just take a nap.
Yeah. Just turn it all off.
Right. Everything.
Mm-hmm. And it's not working.
No.
How's the part feel about that? Does the part feel like it's working? Or does the part also have some frustration or disappointment in the fact that it's not working?
Okay. I'm seeing something else now.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay, I'm going to talk for the part. If she
Mm-hmm.
didn't if she doesn't take a nap, if she continues, she'll never stop looking under every stone. She'll never rest.
Yeah. And is there a part of you that really loves to look under every stone and not rest? Yeah. So when that part is in control, there's some truth to that, right?
Right.
Right. Yeah.
I'm lost. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing.
Okay. Well, let me see if I can kind of summarize what I'm noticing.
Okay.
We have a part that wants you to take a nap.
Yeah.
It thinks you're 9 or 10, and it is kind of in opposition to another part that will never stop looking and never rests. This part that wants you to take a nap is trying to protect you from trying, failing, and being disappointed. Does all that check out, and does that make sense to you, the way this part feels?
Yeah.
Okay, let it know that.
It makes sense.
Is there more that it wants to show you or tell you about that disappointment that it's trying to protect you from, or anything else it's trying to protect you from?
It just all goes back to hope again.
Mm-hmm. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, it's just afraid I'll be crushed. I mean, this is what we did the last time we were together, or the first time. I want to be able to see. I wrote the other day, I've held back pain for so long thinking I could do that. And really what I was doing is holding back life.
And how are you feeling towards this part now as you learn more about all the things that it's working for and how it works?
I feel kind of sorry for her. Like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
like she thought I was homeless and didn't know that I had a house.
Yeah. Just show her that compassion. You also might show her appreciation for her intention.
Yeah.
You could try asking her what she would rather be doing if she didn't have to work so hard in this way.
Mm. there's something about, I see a lot of, I'd really like to play with you in connecting the dots. I'm just afraid that if you do, it's like I would just like to play, not tell you to take a nap.
Mm-hmm.
Then I have to continually tell you you're tired, you're weak, you can't. And I'd really like to be on the other side of that. And play just keeps coming up. It's like, does it all have to be so serious?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's really afraid of how serious I make, IFS or getting in touch with my parts or getting in touch with my painful beliefs or, whatever it is. It's like, could it just be a part of your life?
Yeah.
Now I'm seeing, why don't you take a nap is an attempt to just show me there's more to life than searching.
Yeah. So again, it sounds to me like the part that is in opposition to that is that one that never stops looking, never stops searching.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that could be something you offer this part is say, that makes sense. And that could be a part that you work with is the one who never stops searching.
Okay. Yeah.
How does it feel about trusting you to do that?
They're all a little hesitant, but curious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Does it have any other requests it wants to make of you?
The one who's always searching.
The one who wants you to take a nap.
Does she have any requests of me? Yes, sometimes she's right.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not because she believes I'm weak.
Right.
Yeah. Sometimes it might be the very best solution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is there a way that she could give you that message, at those times, and you would be able to hear it at those times? But then at the other times when she's just calling you weak, to kind of turn that down.
Yeah, I think, when we started and you said, could you be thinking that of her more than she's thinking that of you? And it's like, I feel this real need to tell her, I've judged you as coddling, not knowing me,
Not hearing me,
misjudging me. And I'm seeing that maybe what she really wants to do is say, it's time to rest now. And for me to trust that she's not calling me weak and stupid and a cripple,
Yeah.
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 To just be able to have a conversation and say, all right, which is this?
Yeah. kind of want to point out that I think it's great to be, apologizing for not being there and listening there for her. But it's likely these other parts that were the ones kind of shouting back at her or, yeah.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Like if self by definition is curious and compassionate, then we could say that there's other parts that have been fighting her.
Right.
But you're the one who can listen to all the parts.
Okay. Thank you. And I really need to be reminded of that, because every time
we all do.
Every time I can remember to say there's a part in me,
mm-hmm.
I feel stronger.
Yeah. Yep. That's the basis of the practice.
Yeah.
Noticing parts. Is there any more you'd like to negotiate or discuss with this part now?
I'm really curious who judged her so harshly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we might have met a few of them already on the way here.
Okay.
And one that we said we would circle back to, like the one that was frustrated with her and saying, and feeling not heard.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, are any others coming up that? And you could ask her too, if she knows the names of these ones that she's kind of been battling with.
So weird, James. It's like I'm usually very clear even when I'm fuzzy, and I just feel so fuzzy.
Yeah. Is it this take a nap one again? Still?
Is what?
Is it the take a nap one who's
I'm not
putting
sure.
that fuzziness
I just
in
know
there?
when you ask the question, like, are there other parts? And I just feel like I'm in a daze.
Yeah. It wasn't a great question. It was kind of too vague of a question. So
okay.
I'll take some credit for that fuzziness.
But do you experience that when you're doing the work? Like,
Sure.
okay.
There's a lot of parts.
Yeah.
We don't know them until we know them. And even then, they shape shift and hard to recognize sometimes.
That's a perfect word. It does feel like shape shifting. Like, oh, I thought I had you, and now where did you go?
Yeah. And would you like, just so I'm clear, would you like to try to meet some of these other parts that were frustrated with the taken out part?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
When we first encountered this fog in the brain, you said she resembles my mother. Let me tie your shoes for you. And then you had another part that came up and was frustrated and felt like it wasn't being heard. Can you find that one? That feeling?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like there's a real feeling of, can't you see me?
Yeah. And how do you feel towards that part?
I feel sad and afraid for her.
Mm-hmm. Sad for her?
Yeah, I feel sad. It's like she's in a room with no way to hear, no one can hear her. And she's just screaming, I'm stronger than you think. And then there's another part that I guess that's the one that says take a nap. It says, are you? I'm not sure you are.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. So let the take a nap one know that you made space with these other parts to get to know her, and now you're going to ask for the take a nap part to give you some space to get to know this frustrated one.
Okay.
So you should be all right with that.
Okay.
Okay. Now you can invite the one who's saying, can't you see me, to notice you. Show it that compassion that you have for it.
Yeah.
And if it feels all right, you could ask what it wants you to know.
She said she wants to try, but feels like there's a whole lot of parts waiting on her to fail.
Right. Yeah. That's what we heard from the take a nap part. It was worried that she would try and fail. And so it was basically waiting on her to do that.
Right.
Or trying to prevent her from trying.
Yeah, it's like she wants to believe she can tie her shoes, but yeah, there's a fear too.
Mm-hmm.
Is it all bravado? Is it? Yeah, the main thing is, would you just let me try?
Yeah, so you can let her know that you've seen how other parts have prevented that, or other parts are waiting for her to fail. I'm curious how you're being with this part. Does it feel like you're close?
Yeah, probably blended.
Okay. Yeah. So a moment ago, she was kind of in a room, and now it feels like she's blended with you.
Yeah, like I can't really separate me from.
Okay. You could try just asking. Just let her know that you do want to get to know her. And that if she gives you a little bit of space, you'll be able to see her better.
Okay. Wow, she's really afraid if she's not nose to nose with me, I won't see her.
Yeah.
And it's so hard to see someone when they're that close.
Right. And does it make sense to you why she would feel that way? Like she really had to be so close in order to get your attention?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just let her know that you get that.
Yeah.
How does she like being in this space and in this distance, your ability to listen to her like this?
I'm not sure she keeps saying, nap girl, the one who keeps throwing the fog on everything, she's watching that door and yeah, I'm feeling so fuzzy again. And she's saying, see, I told you.
Okay.
You can't stay with me.
She might have, she might have been right about that door, nap girl being a little too close.
Yeah.
And she might be right that if another part jumps in and wants to get your attention, it might be really hard to stay with her.
Yeah.
But you did notice what you noticed. And if that fogginess is coming back in, then you can turn to it. Ask it again for space. Let it know you're only trying to get to know this other part.
Yeah.
And these things do take practice.
And I keep getting glimpses of my mother. That part feels so needy. Like, if I give you space, you're going to completely shut me out.
The part that resembles your mother?
Yep.
And do you understand what that's about, or is that something you want to ask more about now?
Oh, yeah. There's so much about, if you really listen to her, you'll never listen to me again.
And how do you feel towards the part that believes that?
Oh. And it makes me sad to think that she thinks I would just completely.
Yeah. Just show her that. These parts have been in you for a long time. They're going to continue being there.
Yeah.
the more clear that you see them, which you're doing now, the easier it will be to continue reconnecting with them and remembering them and not forgetting them.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. I've never really thought about it this way, but when that part is, I find myself saying to my daughters what my mother said to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I see exactly the same expression on their face as I had. It's like, you don't understand. I have to work. I can't just take a nap. I can't just slow down. And it's like, I see how much that part is misunderstood and scoffed and called outdated. And
yeah, the one that's suggesting a nap.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, just let her know you get it.
I see in the last, I've really been resisting the gift in her.
Yeah.
I've really believed that she would get me in trouble. She would hold me back.
And again, is that the frustrated part that believes that? It's the one that feels like she's going to hold you back.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So you have these two parts, the one that wants to be heard, the one that's loud and frustrated, the other one that's just concerned that you're getting enough rest. They're both contending over this, trying and failing and being disappointed. One really wants to try and just wants to be allowed to try and to hope. And the other is kind of waiting and trying to prevent the failure. Neither of them have been appreciated enough. They both feel unappreciated. They both feel like they're working really hard and are alone and not heard. Is this all resonating? Am I capturing it? You still with me? Let's see. If you're speaking, I can't hear you. I am alone in the call. Well, this is what happens. I spoke for too long. James, how do you feel about that? Well, part of me is frustrated, kind of ashamed. Is it because I wasn't being curious? Whether I scared her off or it was just a technical problem. And part of me says, well, maybe you were just talking because she wasn't responding. Thanks, part. And part of me says, play. And part of me says, this could all be avoided if you did this in person. And then the other parts laugh. And remind me about this thing I'd put off for months. And today was going to be the day I was going to go to town. I was going to meet the guy. I was going to negotiate the thing. And right before I was packing to leave, I got an email from his lawyer offering to settle. And I said, isn't technology awesome? I get to stay at home again today. Yay. Well, Anonymous, I think your phone died. That's what I'm going to hope for. We were in a decent place, right? I mean, she didn't hang up because she was overwhelmed, did she? James, how would you score your practitionering in this call? Well, I had an extremely frustrating morning. I didn't prepare quite as well as I had hoped. But I'm in a good mood. Sometimes that stress actually makes me feel better later. I think it was one of those days. And how do you feel towards your client in her parts? Compassionate. Lots of compassion. I hear the parts in her saying, whatever, I can't do it, or I hear her frustration in getting blended and yeah, it's a mix of, I'm sad for you that you're going through that. And I'm also kind of smiling, knowing that you will, and that I'm seeing you overcome that. And sometimes it's right there in real time. I'm watching 10 seconds ago, it was blended this way, and now you've already negotiated another way. So that's a really nice feeling. All right, I'm going to do some technical checks here. Should have done before. Yes, my internet is still good. Could check my email. All right. And James, how would you have tried to bring that call to a close? Well, where were we? I was talking and explaining, possibly too much, but the next thing I was going to say was, are you seeing what I'm seeing? Does that resonate with you? Are you the third person in what was formerly a, why do I always forget that word, a polarity? And she would say yes or no, or sometimes. And then I would say, you're doing great. Hey, she's back.
James,
Welcome back.
I don't know what happened.
Me neither.
Oh, okay. Sorry, it all just I just kept getting the wheel of death. I couldn't get back.
What's the problem? Kept your seat warm. I was kind of thinking about the conversation while you were gone. And
Yeah.
Just if I can try to kind of maybe pick up where I was leaving off, what I was noticing was these two parts, right? The one that says, can't you see me? And the one that wants to make it take a nap. They're in opposition. It's a polarity. And neither of them have felt very appreciated for what they're really trying to do and who they are.
Right.
By you. Does that sound right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's the good news is that, well, and I should ask, do you feel, are you the third person in the room who can see, recognize, and acknowledge both of them?
Yeah. And it there's something about just being able to see them. Oof. Yeah, there's just something about that. It's like, okay, all right. And I want to just ask both of them to please make themselves known. I'd like to get to know you. We don't have to go to such extremes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And you can continue mediating so that they can let you know and they don't have to be fighting each other.
Right. Yeah.
But again, that's going to take time to build those relationships. And to just kind of reshape those patterns.
Well, it gives me hope.
Me too. Yeah. I was just thinking about how confident and hopeful I am. I know that it's hard, it's hard when you're in it. I'm in it all the time. I get blended with parts and that requires effort and practice to notice them and get them to notice me again.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever noticed it in a session like I did today. Like I couldn't separate me from the part, and feels good to be able to do that.
Yeah. Is there any more that you want to negotiate with either of them about how that will look, how they want that to look, or any suggestions you have for doing that in the future?
This is where I get lost. It's like, how do we integrate? How do we move forward from here?
Yeah.
I'm sure there are dozens more, but I notice that when I am resting, I was doing my Italian lessons yesterday on the sofa. Husband walked in and he has no judgment, but I'm thinking, you need to get up. You need to be doing something. This isn't something, and just recognizing how often, you need to be doing something. You need to be. And then the other one that's saying, just rest. So I think recognition is, I don't know what else to do, James.
Yeah, well, I think that's really great news that you're recognizing that recognition is such an essential first step, and whatever else there is to do, I would say almost kind of doesn't matter. I mean, the practice, like I said earlier, is noticing parts. And there is other stuff to do, but what they're all asking for is to be acknowledged and to be heard.
Right.
So yeah, I think that's more than half the battle. That's how the relationships are built, and then the rest of the stuff is kind of just icing on the cake for really taking those relationships into an even sweeter place. But they fundamentally just want to be heard.
Well, just hearing the word relationship, that it takes time to form a relationship. And the first thing is, open the door and invite them in, and don't leave them in an empty room for long periods of time without saying, how are you? And
that's right.
Get you something.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so often a simple little check-in like that, kind of suddenly they don't really need anything so bad. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
It's like a child. Often a child's screaming about how hungry they are. They're so hungry they're going to die, and they just want to be noticed.
Right.
And then they forget about that.
They
weren't really hungry,
I've often complained to my husband, you're just not intimate. And then he grabs my chin and looks into my eyes, and I'm like, okay, that's too much. So yeah, it's the noticing. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess we'll check in with that. So we've got hurry. We've got take a nap. Yeah.
And I'm wondering if hurry is different from this one saying, can't you see me? Would you just let me try?
Yeah. Yeah, I think there is a slight difference because, hurry's keeping everybody from looking.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. I will email you. We can talk again about our very soon call scheduled.
Okay.
I personally am very slow on email. So if you want to try communicating another way, or if you want to get on Discord, that's something that I check every day. So anyway,
how do you get on Discord?
you just download the app, and it's not particularly user friendly. It's kind of has a learning curve, but just to sign up and to join and to say hello to me on there is pretty simple. So
I don't like it.
It's a chat app. It's a chat app, and it's where not the rest, but several other callers are also.
Okay.
And so it's like, this is the live IFS server. There's multiple other people in there. There's some chatter most days, just talking about IFS. And if you are a listener to the podcast, you'll recognize names, and and you can choose. I mean, we haven't even decided if you would like to be published under a certain name or not, but in the future, you'll be able to choose. Do you want to say, yeah, I'm that person on that call, or you can keep your identity secret, or you can just chat with me privately there. So
okay,
it's a nice little place.
So do I go on my phone?
Yeah, there is a link. If you look at the podcast on every call, if you scroll down, you'll see an invitation to join the Discord server. And if you click that, that should be all you need to do.
Okay.
It'll walk you through the rest. And if you'd rather take a nap and not have and not figure that out, that's fine too. I just wanted you to know that I personally am slow on email. So
okay. I'm looking, just 1 second, because I podcast. Where are you? So after I go to a podcast.
Yeah, pick one of those calls of ours or of anybody's.
Okay.
And in the description of the call,
right,
you see that you scroll down to the bottom and you see "Come chat with us," Discord, a smiley face.
I don't see that. See about the podcast.
Yeah, I think you need to pick one of the episodes.
I did.
Okay.
It's so weird. I don't.
It doesn't show a description.
It says internal family systems, live sessions and demos, free and open source.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the description of the entire show, and not a specific episode. So if you clicked on 273 Joe.
Okay, click on that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Wait. See more. Oh,
Each call.
Okay.
Yeah, each call has its own description.
So let's see. Feed Discord.
Yay.
I don't like that name, but okay.
Yeah. It was originally like for a gaming community. It's kind of like Slack.
Okay.
But yeah.
I will go on there so we can chat there. And would you rather I make an appointment later on rather than Thursday?
I mean, we have so much that we could pick up on from this conversation. So I don't, at the end of this call, I'm not thinking now we shouldn't talk. It's really up to you. And if you want to make that decision now or later,
okay,
it's fine.
All right. Thank you, James.
Thank you. Have a good rest of your day.
I'll see you on Discord. You too.
Okay. Bye. All right. Any parts you'd like to get to know better, change your relationship with?
Yeah. I had a conversation with my daughter several days ago. It was actually her birthday, and I called to wish her a happy birthday. And somewhere in the conversation, I asked her if we were okay because I haven't felt that in a while. And she said, I'm avoiding you. I don't know why, but I'm avoiding you. And then the conversation, then it went to, I feel like the time I give you is never enough. I'm trying to think of what else she might have said. Anyway, it was her birthday. I didn't want us to go into, I didn't want her to hurt. So I told her that I was, willing to see a therapist and we could talk. And her party was several days later, and I felt really, I didn't want to go. There was a lot of, she doesn't want you here. You expect too much. You don't know what you're doing wrong. All her friends are here and she's talking to them. So there's this, I've been writing a lot about avoidance, looking at the part of me that avoids. I don't know where to go, James. I'm
Okay. How are you feeling just in recounting that story?
very sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And afraid.
Okay. So we can just let the sad part and the afraid part know that we see them and they're welcome.
Okay.
They don't have to change. How do they respond hearing that from me?
She doesn't believe that she doesn't have to change.
Okay. She's gotten that message a lot that she's supposed to change and
Yeah.
not supposed to show up the way that she does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds really hard. If there are parts that are sending that message, we can work with them.
Okay.
We can work with this part too, but I'm letting her know that if this is a parts thing, then I'd love to look into that and see how I can help with any parts that are telling her that she has to change.
Okay.
How's that sound to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
There are definitely parts saying you can't be this way.
Mm-hmm. And this is your call, and so we don't have to go anywhere you don't want to. If you wanted to work with other parts or anything at all, just let me know.
No, I'm good.
Okay. So, can't be this way. How do you notice that part in your body?
Oh, um, I feel a lot of stiffness in my neck and shoulders. Really demanding.
Yeah. Okay. I want to let that part know that it's also welcome. I'd like to get to know it. How do you feel towards it?
Yeah, I just thought that part's so afraid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And as you notice it being so afraid, how are you feeling towards it?
Feel compassion.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
You know, you've gotta change. You can't be who you are, or everyone's gonna leave you.
Wow. This part, is it aware of you there?
I'm not sure.
Okay. You're the one who's compassionate.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. So when this part is saying about its fear and about you can't be this way or else everyone's going to leave you, does it notice that you're receiving that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And does it make sense to you that this part would feel this way?
Yep.
Okay. So let it know all that.
Okay.
And that it's okay for it to share with you how it wants.
Okay.
How's it feeling in there between you and this part?
I hear a lot of I've got this. Um you don't know how serious this is.
It's telling you that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How do you feel about learning more from this part about how serious it believes it is? Because it sounds like it doesn't think that you get it.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. It feels like whenever I consider saying how I feel, showing up and attempting to work through this part is like, it's not going to work. You're going to make it worse. There's just a whole lot of, I don't know if I'm answering your question.
It's okay.
Okay.
Whenever you consider saying how you feel, this part says it's not going to work.
Right. Right. You're going to make it worse. This is serious.
Mm-hmm.
It's better to avoid it.
Mm-hmm. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah. And I'm really feeling the pain of avoidance.
Right. 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 Does this part also feel like it's painful to do what it does, to be avoidant?
Yeah.
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 But it insists that it's very serious.
Yeah.
Very serious that you don't make it worse.
Right.
right? How would you feel about asking it to show you more about what makes it so serious?
Okay. Man, she said you're going to find out just who you are, and they're going to find out how needy you are, and
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What a fraud.
That's a fraud, yeah. So it believes you have these qualities, neediness and being a fraud.
Yeah.
That if you were to find out, and if others were to find out, then they would all leave you.
Yeah.
Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Makes sense to me too.
Thank you, James.
Mm-hmm. So you could let this part know that there may be parts in you that don't believe that they're worthy, or that feel just hopelessly needy, and that we can work with those parts too.
Okay.
You could try showing it some appreciation for wanting to protect you from all that. How'd that go?
There's a lot of feel like she's really nervous that I'm seeing these other parts,
Yeah.
even though she
Yeah.
tells me that they're here all the time.
Right. Well, that was her concern, is that people are going to find out about them. She doesn't want, she said, you're going to find out. You're going to find out who you are. That's what she was worried about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Just let her know that you get that. And that you are not these parts. You're the compassionate one.
Okay. Man, it's hard to separate right now.
Yeah. Okay. Ask any parts that feel like they're too close or too loud or blended with you. Ask them for space.
Okay.
Let them know we want to get to know them. We got a plan. Though they're all important.
Okay.
Okay. And also to this part that is kind of anxious about having shown you this, we don't have to go there now. There's no hurry to do anything. We can stay and listen more about this part. I have other questions for this part. So it's whatever feels right for you.
Let's go with your questions.
Great. Okay. The part wants to protect you from those feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And I see that as something very valuable. And I was wondering if you see that as valuable and if you had shown it appreciation for its intention.
Yeah, the feelings are. Oh, sorry. The feelings are so painful, and I'm grateful. I really want to see these other parts, but I can see why this protector wants to keep me from it.
Yeah. Yeah, it can be a little too much, huh? Or a lot too much.
Yeah.
And if we don't know how to help them, then what's the point in opening the lid?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's why we have protectors.
Yeah.
So you could ask it what it would rather be doing with its energy if it didn't have to work so hard, if we were able to help them.
All I hear is anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's tired.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think anything is possible.
Yeah.
So if we are able to do that and she can relax, then that should open up. Self can open up a whole world of possibilities for her to operate in. You could try asking her how old she thinks you are.
Wow. Getting a lot of flashbacks where she's been. It's before puberty.
Mm-hmm. You okay with her just showing you some of those times?
Yeah, it's almost like, remember that? Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Remember when you stepped into the light and they made fun of your teeth and your eyes and your body and
Yep. Yep.
remember when they talked about you?
Yep. And she came in to help protect you from that.
Yeah.
So you could update her with your real age.
Okay. She didn't know people could get this old.
Yeah. Yeah, she's been stuck kind of staring at that timeline and her world kind of froze back there, huh?
What?
Is there anything else you want to ask of her?
Funny, the things that it's a lot like my daughter. It's like I want to ask her, could you trust me? But I'm afraid to.
Okay. And do you know where that fear is coming from? Is that this part's fear or some other part that has that fear of asking for trust?
I know I say this in every session, but it's like what intelligence I have just feels like it just dissipates. It's like, what's happening? There's just this fog in my head.
Yeah, fuzzy fog.
Yeah.
Okay. Welcome, fuzzy fog.
Okay.
And I want to apologize. Even if you think I didn't do anything wrong, I just want to apologize for any way that I might have contributed to that with my questions. So I'm doing a lot of guessing sometimes, and sometimes I can make things more foggy.
Well, I appreciate that, but I think it's just, I don't know. It feels like some sort of, it feels like, I don't know which protector. I don't know if they all have a fog machine, but it feels like, let's don't get so clear on this.
Yeah. And we can respect that. We might just say, okay, maybe now's not the time to get so clear on this part or that part. I remember last time we talked, I think the main topic of conversation was a fogger, I think.
Yeah. I remember feeling, it feels like, okay, is my blood sugar low? What's going on? Why can't I think?
Mm-hmm. And I remember some of the messages it said.
Yeah.
Yeah, it said, let me tie your shoes.
Mm.
So let me tie your shoes, and all this searching, you're searching too hard.
Yeah.
And it said, take a nap. Does it feel like that's the same part?
But let me tie your shoes. You're just too weak to do this. It's too much.
Right. And then there's that other part that says that feels too weak, or feels like just see me, just let me try.
Yeah.
Right.
And then
we got to know these parts a little.
another part that says it's your weakness that makes people not want to be with you.
Right.
Neediness.
Right. They all have this same kind of concern. They all are working around this same, if you do this, you're going to be alone. If you do this, they're going to leave you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just want you to know that that is probably the most core, common, in everyone exile. Because of how important it is that we aren't abandoned. And that we all get those messages somewhere, somehow, that if we are ourselves, then will be rejected.
Yeah.
So I just am saying all this because I'm trying to welcome all of these parts who work so hard around this. I understand it. It's normal. And I get that it's frustrating, the fog. But it all makes sense to me.
There was just something about when you said, "Let me tie your shoes, take a nap."
Mhm.
It just, somebody felt heard, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yep, we're listening. So check all that out with the fog part. Is that what it's concerned about?
Yeah, there's just something about it. You're not going to like what you find.
Mm-hmm.
It's too much.
Mm-hmm.
How long do we have to do this?
Great question.
Oh,
And I think the thing it said before that you're not going to like what you find, I totally get that. Especially from its perspective. It's only seen this as a problem.
yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's been an unsolvable problem. How do you feel towards that fogging part?
Mm. I'm grateful and angry.
Okay, good noticing. Angry that it's shutting you down or that it has?
Yeah.
Yeah. Grateful that it looks out for when you need to take a break and cares about protecting you.
Yeah. Grateful for the times that it was too much. And
Mm-hmm. Okay. Ask the angry part for space
okay.
and show it your gratitude.
Okay.
You receive that?
One step back.
Mm-hmm. Did the fog part receive your gratitude?
Yeah.
Yeah. And how does it feel about being noticed by you in this way? What's that like for it?
Scary. It's like, do I need to double down on the fog?
Oh, because here we are doing more of that, learning about parts that it's concerned about.
Yeah, it reminds me of the Wizard of Oz. It's like, pull the curtain. You don't need to see this.
Yeah. Yeah. I get that. I personally haven't met a part that I don't like, but I understand if you and your system don't have that confidence or this part doesn't have that confidence.
That's a bumper sticker.
I think it is. I think it is I didn't come up with that, but it's true.
Yeah. I really believe that. I think, this feels really close. This just feels so close. But I realize that once everyone backs up and I can just be with a part, they're all friendly. They all want my best.
Yeah. Yeah. And you get to see the best in them.
Yeah.
Earlier, it had asked how long we have to do this. And I don't know if that's still a question on its mind, if it's something it wants us to address. Or if you have an answer.
Well, I don't know what just happened, but I feel different. I mean, there was a moment where not only did it feel foggy inside, I was looking for my phone to see what time it was. There was a whole lot of,
static kind of.
like, oh God, I don't feel that. I don't feel that right now.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So you can just let them all see that. You can do this for them. And you can do this for exile parts. You can make a space where they're fine. They're fine just being themselves in your presence. I'm not saying it's easy or it's going to happen at the snap of a finger, but
yeah, James, this one it feels more crowded than other times. So I really hear what you're saying about, can I make a space? Can I ask anger to back up? Can I ask, could you just give each of them a little space? Because it has felt, it's interesting. I was doing a meditation yesterday and the woman said, can you imagine the space, between your cells? And it was like, is there space? Because it feels really crowded right now.
Right.
And it doesn't feel like an upbeat crowd.
Yeah. I also want to take some responsibility for that because in this conversation, I have been moving quickly.
Okay.
And I do that, I kind of move until I get a certain degree of pushback. So here we are, and that's fine. And I respect that.
Yeah, I mean, before we ever came on the call, it felt crowded though. I just want you to know that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
One person saying you need to get this straightened out. Another says it's impossible. Another says, you're going to find out what you don't want to know.
Yeah. And you have made some space, gotten some space from them.
Yeah.
You have kind of distinguished who's who. And that's a really valuable step. Because from here we can kind of say, okay, who do we want to talk to, if anybody?
Yeah.
Sometimes you might just want to enjoy the space. That's fine too.
Wow. I saw the part that's so afraid differently when you said that. It was like, maybe that is where it's like, can we just talk for a minute? Can we just?
Yeah. Yeah. What's your response to that?
Well, I see that. I see a real threat, that she feels a real threat for me making a phone call. It's like, I don't even know what I'm feeling. And you're not listening to me. And that makes such sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's.
Just so I'm clear, are you talking about a specific phone call, this call with me or with your daughter, or any call?
With my daughter.
Okay. Right. Right. So this part's saying, well, we can't just pick up the phone and call her. We don't know what were you doing here?
You haven't called me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which feels very different than, if you do it, you're going to regret it.
Right. Right. Yeah. This is the opening of a conversation instead of a threat.
Right. Right.
Or a fear.
Yeah, she's young. This message came early, that other lives depended on me giving up mine.
How young?
Nine, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow that morphed into, if they find out what you gave up, they won't like you. And all I ever wanted to do was help. And it feels like it all backfired, and
Mm-hmm.
people see me as the needy one, and the one who.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how the 9-year-old felt.
No, she just felt like you can't show your needs. There's not enough room for your needs.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So a moment ago, we were looking at a room full of protectors that were all concerned about going too fast or it's too crowded. And it sounds to me like now we're hearing directly from that young part, that exile.
Yeah.
So
She's
you
real.
still. Mm-hmm. Well,
She's real.
what I was kind of warning against, are we just jumping past those protectors now and doing the thing that they were concerned about without doing the checking in with them that they might need?
I don't know.
Okay. How do you feel towards the 9-year-old?
Now I'm getting a lot of anger. She's really angry.
Mm-hmm. How do you feel towards her?
I love her.
Do you?
I do.
You show her that? You show her that love? And is it okay with these protective parts that you show her a little love or a lot?
I think so. It's like they're not, I don't even hear them.
Okay. Well, if they need to jump back in, they're welcome to.
Okay.
The mission is not make all them disappear so we can get to know exiles.
Right.
It's to come to know all your parts.
Yeah. Actually, kind of feels like they're going, well, thank God.
Right.
You,
Right.
you deal with her.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
what it feels.
Thank them.
Yeah.
Because you can deal with her in a way that they can't.
Okay.
Did any of them love her like this? Like you do?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think I don't know. It's hard to put into words. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I think they loved her in a really the best they could.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Here we go.
That's right.
Oh,
Okay.
she, when she's really pissed. Wow.
How do you feel about letting her express that to you now?
Man.
Maybe just some of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it becomes too much, you can ask her. You could let her know right now. She can share with you that there also are concerns of it being too much. And so just to share it in a way that feels right.
Okay.
Let her show you some of that anger, what it's been like for her.
Yeah, I'm hearing you. They say they don't like me. How could they even know? All I do is watch out for guns and harsh words and when the next shoe's going to drop. Yeah, she's really angry about feeling that there was nobody else to help but her.
Mm-hmm. And are you all right with the way she's showing you this?
Yeah.
And how does she feel about being able to show you this? Does it feel good for her?
Uh-huh.
Okay, great. Tell her to bring it on. Just
Yeah, she's a little nervous that I won't let it just, anger has been. Yeah, I felt her the other night when we were getting ready to go to the birthday party. It was, I don't want to go.
mm-hmm.
Screw them all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And she was anxious that you won't let.
I think it's that I don't allow her to defend herself in any way.
Right, that her anger hasn't been okay.
Yeah, I don't allow her to speak her truth at all. It's just, I just make her swallow. What if, keep asking, what have you done? How can you make it better? How can you make it right?
Yes.
How can you not be so needy?
Yep, that's the messages she's been getting.
Yep.
From parts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
just let her know that you see that.
I
You
needed
see
to
how
hear from parts, James. Boy, did I need to hear from parts.
yeah. It's parts who have been and we just learned a little of why we've met these parts, these protective parts that feel that they need to tell her these messages. And it made sense to you when you figured out why they were doing it, and you can just let her know that you have now seen who's doing that, why they're doing it, and now you want to learn more about her experience. But that you're not the one telling her she can't be mad or she can't defend herself. We're not going to do that.
Oh, man. There's such a relief in that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great.
I want to be responsible, but I also don't want to. Oh, just felt really good to think, oh, there's another part saying that.
That it wants to be responsible?
No, that it, here comes the fog again.
Okay.
There's another part saying, oh my gosh.
You had said, I want to be responsible, but it's okay. The fog is here for a reason. Hello, fog. Hello, fog. I see that you see we're doing this thing.
Oh my God. And there's a part going, James thinks you're crazy.
Oh, I don't think any of your parts are crazy.
But it's so funny. It's like, there it is. It's like, you're more intelligent than this. You are on top of things. You can't just fake it. You can't be in a fog.
Okay. Yeah. It's telling you that you ought to fake it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you're more intelligent than that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I think we've all tried outsmarting our parts before. Right?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Yep. No, I don't think we're much smarter than them.
Yeah.
I think that self, like we were saying earlier, has a different way of showing love.
Yes.
And listening.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of superpower that they all respond to.
Yeah. And the needy part, it's like when you were talking about the self knows a different way to love, it was like, okay, let me see if I can move the fog enough to describe this. It's like,
all right.
It just doesn't feel needy. It doesn't feel like it has an agenda.
Right.
Yeah. I read a quote this week. Let me see if I can hang on. It's Kristen Neff, using compassion to make the pain go away is another form of resistance. And I thought about, how much I can, it's like, I love you, so you'll shut up.
Right. And so that's kind of a false compassion, or that's a limited compassion. And we might call those caretaker parts.
Oh.
Yeah. Have a hug. Pretend I'm listening.
Wow, I haven't heard the term caretaker parts, but I got a lot of those.
Yeah, me too. And they care, right? And they know that caring solves some problems. If they give just enough care, then the problem will go away.
Right. And if I'm not caring enough, then it won't go away. So I have to fake caring until it goes away.
Right. And so, I would definitely agree with the the Neff quote about saying that if the goal is just to make the pain go away, then that is already an agenda.
Right.
If we switch that more to help parts relax or understand their pain,
Right.
or allow them to be in pain in our presence,
Mm-hmm.
then that makes the pain go away. Sorry, I couldn't help. But yeah, I mean, that does alleviate
It does. But if there's
suffering of them.
yeah.
Yeah. How's the fog feeling?
At the moment, okay.
Mm-hmm. How's I'm guessing was a 9-year-old feeling about, she showed you some of that anger.
Yeah. She's got more.
I bet.
Yeah.
Are you all right with that?
Yeah, I am.
So I don't have a hard time limit for this conversation. And I'm willing to stay and listen and do as much as feels right for you with her now. So you can just check yourself, check her, check those other parts with how much more to stay with her and listen now.
Yeah, the only thing I'm getting is she's really afraid that I won't allow her to express her anger. You know, that someone's going to suppress it at some point. It's like, be nice, be nice, be nice.
Yep. And that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's what has happened. So we're making a list of all those parts that are going to tell her to be nice. They want to tell her the fog, all those other parts. We're just going to keep our eyes out for them.
I had a visual of your office like a beautiful mind because you're writing all this down and it's taking up the whole wall. It's like, do we have any more parts? Are they still coming? Yes.
I'm at a page and a half, which is about normal for this, for where we are. And I would say if I was going to go back and review these notes, I think we've probably met 4, maybe 5 protectors, which is also very normal.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, it feels like they're all in the room. Nobody is, I mean, she's a little afraid that she's going to get squashed.
How would it feel to invite her to a special place with you? Just so she can share more away from them.
Okay.
And you could ask her if she'd be okay with just kind of meeting you somewhere else. Just for now.
Yeah, she's very okay with that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Where would she like to meet you? What feels like a nice place for her to be able to express herself?
Wherever they aren't.
Great.
Yeah, wherever they aren't. It's like just take someplace where we can talk and I don't feel edited or criticized or.
Mm-hmm. You also don't have to invite me to that place, by the way. So you can drop me off along the way if you like.
Okay.
Nothing that she shares with you has to be shared with me.
Okay.
Do you feel like you have her in a good place now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she went back and checked the window and the other protectors are just playing checkers.
Yeah, and you can offer to stand by that window.
Mm-hmm.
Let her know that she can express herself however she wants. That you really want to understand her.
Yeah. Boy, she's so tired of trying so hard to please everybody. To be amenable, to be helpful, to be not too much, ugh.
You taking that in?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I really want to help her, but I'm not sure I can.
You can.
Okay.
This is the process. Listening. This is the process. You gotta understand her before we can help her.
Yeah.
And you can just let her know that. The more she shows you about who she is and what it's been like for her, the more you can help her.
Yeah. Now she's got her finger in her mouth on her tongue, like, this makes me want to vomit.
Yeah.
She's really,
Yeah.
yeah.
And what makes her want to vomit?
Having to pretend that things are okay when they're not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Having to act stupid when she's not.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Just stay with her.
Yeah, that feels like the fog machine, It's like,
Mm-hmm.
that's not who I am.
Right.
I knew it wasn't right for him to be beating mom that way. I knew it wasn't right.
Yeah. Yeah. Just stay with her.
Hmm. Yeah, she has a lot to say.
Mm-hmm. And how is this for you?
It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am a little, it's like, I don't want to just say I'm sorry,
Right.
I really want
It's more than that.
I want her to have her outlet and her voice, and man,
Yeah.
maybe I'm just moving too fast and I need to just say, I'm here right now. I don't,
Well, you being there is giving her this voice.
okay.
You are the outlet.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, check that out with her. She's getting to share with you how much this makes her want to vomit and
Yeah.
how wrong she knew it was and how she had to act stupid and what that was like for her.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that was another part, slipping in and going, yeah, but can you do it in the future? Are you going to,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's definitely something to look out for and plan. And
mm-hmm.
None of this is real easy.
Yeah.
But the act of being there for her and just listening with her is something you can do and something you can repeat.
And being able to recognize that that there's another part saying, but you won't be able to do this in the future, is just, I see you. Could you let me have this conversation?
Mm-hmm.
I hear your fears.
Yep. That makes sense.
Yes, that makes sense. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. And maybe even thanks for the alert. I'll be sure to I'll add that to my list of
Yeah.
things I need to look out for in my parts work.
Thank you, James.
Mm-hmm.
Whew.
Yeah. So how does this little one want to, well, we can answer that question. We can find out, how does she want to stay in touch with you going forward? She's got a lot to say.
Yeah, I think she wants to write.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Something you can help her out with, or
Yeah. And maybe, I don't know,
provide space for?
maybe even artwork. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like she needs a real opening and a space to be free to do that
Yeah. That could
without
be something.
without any expectation that she has to do it anywhere with anyone else.
Yes. Yes. And so you can do that internally, and you can do that, if that means that you do some artwork in the external world, that's one thing. You can also just offer those things to her now. You can say, okay, here's what do you need? And provide those things for her.
Okay.
You can spruce up that space in any way that she wants. And you can make it hers.
Yeah. Huh. I just had a memory. My father murdered my stepmother and then killed himself. And my children were young, and
Mm-hmm.
we were all bumping into each other, and was homeschooling and trying to
Mm-hmm.
have some sort of semblance of order. And I could tell nothing was working. And I said, I'm really angry with your grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
And then I looked up and I took dishes out of the cabinet and we went to the side of the house and smashed them on the bricks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How was that?
It was it was so wonderful.
Uh-huh.
I think she's telling me that that's what she.
Yeah. That's what she needs. She needs more of that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gave it to your children. Can you
Mm-hmm.
give that to me?
Yeah. Can you?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I
Yep.
can't. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So you can provide those things. There are a handful of other steps that, if and when we are working with this part, that I would offer, and we don't have to do them now, we can do them another time, or not at all. So just let me know if you want to hear more about those now or later or whatever.
Yeah. I'd like to hear about them now.
Okay. Okay. So kind of the step that I think of that you're kind of in with this part is around witnessing. So you're asking her what it was like, and you're understanding her beliefs, and you're getting to know her. And that can take some time. You said she's got a lot to say. So, you might revisit several times to continue witnessing.
Okay.
After or mixed in, you might offer to go back into certain times with her. If she feels like she's stuck back in a place or time, and offer to be with her in the way that she needed someone.
Okay.
And then something you've kind of already done is you've invited her somewhere else. You could invite her to be with you or to some other place. And then there's also the process of asking what she would like to kind of take out of her body and let go of. So she might have maybe, earlier she said it makes her want to vomit. She might have some things that she wants to kind of throw up out of there, or however she wants to get out.
Okay.
So those are all things that I'd love to help facilitate.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah. But I would say right now, keep doing that witnessing. She wants art, give her art. She wants plates to smash, give her plates to smash. Just, and most importantly is maintaining that space where these other protectors aren't coming in the window, or if they are, you're catching them right away or as fast as you can.
Right.
Yeah.
Space.
Mm-hmm.
Watch for other parts. Okay.
Okay.
Well, thank you, James.
Thank you. I told you I'd get back to you about some other calendar dates, so I'm going to do that. If you'd like to book something sooner, I'm sure we can.
Thank you, James.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you to your parts.
Thank you. I hope you have a wonderful day.
Okay. You too. Bye. Do you want to help bring more self-energy to the world? If you'd like to participate in calls or help out with this project in any way, I'd love to hear your ideas. Join the Discord server or contact me at james@liveifs.com. A huge thanks to our audio engineer, Yvonne, for your care and diligence in editing the calls. To every caller for your courage in sharing some of your parts. And to anyone out there getting to know their internal system, keep going. Who knows? That might be the most selfless, helpful thing you can do for others, and you're the only one who can do it. If you'd like to see us reach the largest audience, we must please the almighty suggestion algorithms at iTunes and YouTube. And they don't care about the power of IFS. They're looking for likes and shares and comments, and the sooner the better. Follow the links in the show notes right here in your podcast player to make your wishes known. And now, a minute of meditation. Or if you prefer, pull over. You can do it in 60 seconds. Just click one of those links. They're right there, and give us a like or a 5-star rating. It would really help. If you think this project is helping people, you're helping people by sharing it. Thank you.